Hi friends, it's Liz here at Liz the Paper Project. Today I am sharing a quick journal with me video and a faux watercolor technique, which I've been wanting to figure out how to do for a while, and I'm so happy the way this turned out. In the video I will show you how I added the colors to this page, but I wanted to do a spread that matched the page on my left with the colors. As you can see, the color also went through on the other pages, which I'm okay with because this is just my fun personal journal and I'm just happy with whatever happens as I go. I think another tip I can share with you is when you are doing some sort of journaling or creative journaling, maybe pick a few pieces that you want to work with so that it doesn't get overwhelming. I made these little sticker style embellishments that I thought I wanted to use, and I just selected a few pieces that I thought matched the color that I was going with. This is a little set of sticky notes that are not very sticky, so I thought the color of this one went nicely with what I have going on the page. And this page is going to be very minimal. Sometimes I like to sort of spread that around in my journal. Sometimes I fill an entire page. Other times I like to just put a few pieces here and there. And really it's just a matter of, kind of trying to use my stash. As you can see, I've selected pieces that I think go well with the left page colors here, with the blues and the whites and the reds, oranges, yellows, that sort of thing. And I've just decided that, just a few pieces on this page will be nice. I will be showing you this technique of how I've added this faux watercolor to my journal. If you want to skip to that, I will leave the stamp time below in the description box. I just thought I would kind of come by and share just a quick fun page that I decided to put together. I'm almost at the end of this journal, just filling it up, and I thought it would be great to just finish showing you guys the process. Thank you so much for the comments you've left in my previous journal with me video. I really appreciate it. You guys are so supportive, and it's just given me the inspiration to continue showing you some of the ideas and inspiration that I'm feeling at that time. And I'm hoping that it inspires you and also gives you some ideas on, how you can fill your journals, which I think is so fun. Also, I am a member of a Facebook group, which is basically using your journals, and I will put that link below. And as I mentioned before, it is a Facebook group to share how you fill your journals for all of us to get inspired and get ideas. And I just love seeing everyone's work in the way that they fill their journals. So I'm thinking this page is almost done. I have a couple more pieces that I'm thinking I'm going to add, being these stickers that I made by simply just adding some stamp and some distress inks to it. And I love how it just kind of blends in that beigey color from the left page. And now I've kind of blended that color also on this page. So I think using things also in 3s and 5s, sort of odd numbers, I've heard that that's a very good way for the eye to enjoy, something. So I thought I would try that in this page. So this is it for this page. I'm going to now show you the different ways that I have tried this faux watercolor technique. I've always had difficulties with watercolors and making them blend nicely and making them look good. So I hope this also inspires you to figure out how to do that yourself. So here I'm just showing you how I've done the faux technique on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. This is a little bit thicker than your average photocopy paper. I like to use 28 pounds or 32 pounds in my work, and I find that that works nicely. I love how these prints came out, and I can use this in my mixed media. I could rip them up and use them in my journals. I can make a journal out of all of these, so it's limitless what I can do with the different pages. This is now mixed media paper. I wanted to try some of that as well. And then again, we're back to the 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I'm going to show you the basic pieces that you need to do this, and it's things you probably already have at home. The first thing that you're going to need is some markers. And now I find the washable markers are so much better in this process. You will see why as I show you the different pages that I've used to show you how I've put this together. I have a few different styles of markers. Some of them have been sitting in my drawers for ages, and some of them are a little bit newer. So definitely the ones that have more ink to them, that are a bit newer, work best, but I'm sure, you know, every little technique works fine. You'll need a sandwich bag or a one of those large Ziploc bags, depending on the size of paper you'll be using. I like to use a drop sheet or drop paper or anything that you know, I can reuse at some point in the future. A water mister or a spray bottle, and of course your favorite piece of paper that you are going to be working on. I'm going to initially start showing you here, but then I switched to putting the white paper underneath it so you can see what I'm doing. And you just grab a marker, and now these are water washable markers, so it's easy to move the ink around a little bit. So you can see here that it's leaving, you know, kind of a bit of a color to it. This marker here is a little bit juicier, so you can see the color a little bit more. And I'm thinking it really is a nice variety depending on what marker you use. This one here, you can see the blue is a little bit darker, so the marker is also a little bit, it's not as dry. And then the next step is super easy, you guys. You grab your water mister or your spray bottle, and then you put water just on the spots that you have colored in with your markers. And then you'll flip the wet part of the bag over to your paper, and then you just kind of play with your fingers and smush it around and kind of let it spray itself wherever it wants to go. And this is just how easy it is, you guys. I'm going to make a few different ones on different kinds of paper so you can see how it turns out. Look at that, right? And then I just used the extra and put it on my, you know, my drop paper here, my little paper, and then my bag is dry. So I can take some off of the page as well if I want it to be less of a color, as you can see here. And then you've got a background paper, background sheets that you can use for something else as well. So this is the first one that I'm showing you, and this is on mixed media paper. And then I'm going to show you on, you know, how I play with it, just regular 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. So again, I'm using my blue here. It's kind of hard to see this one, even though I've got the white background to it. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow, and then I'm going to do the same technique. So this is so fun. I'm getting so many ideas on, you know, what other markers I could use. I don't want to make mud, so I'm just at this point using more of my primary colors. Again, here we go with just wetting it, and you can see how it kind of activates the color. And now I'm thinking, you know, this could be done with those Tim Holtz mixed media types of, you know what I'm talking about, the inks. So now see how this is going to turn out. Now this is watercolor paper, and I had kind of done a little bit to the background of it already with like the reds and that you can see back here, and now I've got this, you know, gorgeous tone of yellows and greens and blues. So this is how this one turns out, and as you can see, I'm just kind of letting the excess of it just kind of stay on this other piece of paper, and look how beautiful that's turned out. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I've always had a hard time with watercolors, mixing them and kind of letting them flow, so I'm finding this so much fun and easy to do. Now I'm sure you can do this also with watercolors. You can add them to the same plastic bag and then see how that turns out. So I'm going to show you another mixture of colors. Now this one, I find that I didn't wet the marker enough, so it's not as moist, and so the way that comes out is a little bit different, and you'll see what I'm talking about here. So I guess be mindful of how much water you add. I'm trying some different kind of, you know, kind of marks here, and what I find at the end is that it doesn't come out exactly as I wanted it, but the beauty is you can always keep adding on top of it if you want once your sheet is dry. So I'll do the process again, and I'll show you, like I said, how I'm going to do this same technique in my journal, and I'm just going to show you a page of that in a little bit. So here we go with the smushing of the colors, and you can see it's kind of taking its own shape, and it's mixing, but not as much as I wanted. I actually wanted to get that purple color more so than anything. So, but it didn't work out as much. However, these can be used as my mixed media pages. I can use these pages in my journals. I can cut them as strips and use them as, you know, additional things. So really, I can use these types of little prints for anything, and I'm so loving the way that they're turning out, even though, like I said, some of them don't turn out exactly how I would have wanted. And again, it's just playing with paper, playing with what you have, and easy kind of things that you may have laying around. I have lots of these markers from my kids when they used to color things in, so I'm kind of hoping to use more of those. Here I'm just going to show you the same technique that I'll be using in one of my journal pages. Now again, with this technique, I don't necessarily like the way that it turned out, but at some point I end up adding a little bit more to it, and you know, I kind of like it. The beauty of this type of thing is I can always add another piece of paper on top if something, you know, goes bad that I didn't like, etc., etc. So you'll just quickly see how I'll do this to the page. I could have just as easily grabbed one of the other sheets that I did and then just kind of glued one of those pieces to this page, but I wanted to try it. Now the paper here, it is, the background is also like that 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, the white paper that has been coffee stained, and I'm not sure if that makes a difference or not, but I will be kind of wetting it here again so you can see it activate the color. And then when I add it to my page, I don't like the way it mixed. I think because I was running out of water here and I just didn't kind of finish adding water to the paper, the plastic bag, the colors didn't mix as well as I wanted. So just keep that in mind. The more water you add to your mix of colors, the easier it will be to blend them. And so here you can see it's just the yellows and red just kind of stayed separate as much. There's a little bit of mix in the center, and it did go over the other pages, which again, it's fine. It's my own personal journal. It's my own little, you know, do what I want with it. So I do end up making something else at the end with this, you know, just adding a little quote. But I hope you guys enjoy the share. I had so much fun. Please let me know if you try it, what you try it with, if you know you've come up with something a little bit different. I would love to see it. I hope you enjoyed this quick, you know, creative project that I think is so fun to try, and it takes away that, for me anyways, that, you know, being perfect and making something not kind of mess up. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you next time.